Hey everybody, I hope you're well. Today's lesson comes from a comment. I got a really, what I thought was a nice, insightful question and an intelligent set of questions, good enough basically to make a video about. So we're going to talk about melodies, scales, and kind of how to turn scales into melodies, I suppose. So the question comes from YouTube user The Mighty Everglades. This person left a comment. It looks like it was left a month ago, but I only just saw it. Apologies. Hey man, I've been a long time follower. Love your videos. Can you please answer this? How the hell does one turn notes from a scale into something melodic sounding? Excellent question. And when I play scales, they sound so bad and non-musical. Is it because I'm playing them slow and in order? How do you know which notes to pick from a scale and turn it into a lick, riff, melody? Thanks in advance. Mighty Everglades, I think that's a fantastic question. It's a deep and complex question. I will do my best to share some ideas today, and this lesson might be a bit meandering, but we will, if you guys stick with me, I can promise you some value in the lesson. I would like to think I can help in some small way, and it's an excellent question and a really, really important part probably of your guitar playing journey. So, the scale I'm going to choose today is the A minor pentatonic scale. I don't play it that much these days because I spend most of my playing time on the more Spanishy stuff, but A minor pentatonic, I figure most of us know it already. It's really nice because it's 2 notes per string, so it's simple to demonstrate and things like that. And of course, any concepts that we apply to this nice simple scale can easily be applied to any other scale. So just real quick, and as always, I will tab today's lesson on my Patreon page, and I'll do what I call a deep dive where we go deeper. Also on Patreon, there's a bonus video there. So jump on and check it out. Like and subscribe, and let's go. 5/8, 5/7, 5/7, 5/7, 5/8, 5/8. A minor pentatonic. So I'm just gonna jump through this question a little bit. Is it because I'm playing them slow and in order? Well, I just played that scale slow and in order and it sounded pretty bad. At best, it sounds like someone practicing a scale. It certainly doesn't sound like music. It's definitely not inspiring or interesting. If we just play with rhythm a little bit, I'm going to tap my foot. So obviously you can't see on the camera. I'm just tapping my left foot to keep a steady beat. I'm going to play the same scale, slow and in order, but I'm going to just play with the rhythm a bit. It's already starting to sound a little bit interesting. I only played each note once. I played up the scale and down the scale. There's no pyrotechnics going on with the picking. I'm just using my thumb. So already we can play our scales in a more rhythmic way, and that will give us some substantial improvement from if you're just going. I can understand how that's not very inspiring. It can still be important, but way better than playing really slowly and methodically and kind of robot-like. Play with a bit of swing. I'll also say I was picking each note with my thumb, except I think once on the first one I did a hammer. So there's another tip for you already, actually. You can use hammer-ons. You can use them judiciously to make your scales more interesting. Another thing you can do, and we're starting with the scales and we're starting just playing them up and down, but we're almost imperceptibly going to start morphing them into melodies because that's kind of what we do when we improvise. So now what I might do is play that same scale, but I'm not going to restrict myself to playing each note once. I may choose to play a note more than one time. I'll still go from the lowest note of the scale to the highest note and then from the highest back. But this time I'm going to allow myself to play the notes more than once if I choose to. And in the interest of simplicity, I won't use any slurs or hammer-ons. I will pick each note individually, I'm just allowed to play with the rhythm a bit, and I'm allowed to pick more than once. Again, I just played the scale low to high, high to low. You might not call it slow, but it certainly wasn't fast. It was, if anything, just a moderate mid-tempo. And simply by allowing myself to pick the notes a couple times, or a few times in some cases, we start to get essentially melodies. That's a melody. Bit of a bend. Just going down the scale. So that's a nice little thing to think about. I'll show you some shapes. I do these shapes a lot. I'm going to show them to you. They've been really helpful for me, and I still practice them to this day. Even after all these years of practicing them and using them, I still use them because they're great. So I'll show you those, and then we'll start talking about maybe writing or improvising melodies. We'll start to, because so far today, we have only played from the lowest note to the highest note. We haven't actually chopped and changed any notes yet. We haven't gone backwards or forwards out of order. We've only gone up and down. Hopefully, Mr. Everglades there, we've managed to, Mr. or Mrs. Everglades, we've managed to jazz it up a bit for you already. So let's do some shapes, and then we'll start talking about actually melodies a little bit more. One of my favorite ones is this one. I'll play for you, then I'll teach it to you. So just playing the 2 notes per string of the A minor pentatonic, but we play the 6th string, 5th, 4th. So we just played 3 strings in a row, 6, 5, 4, lowest, next one, next one. We've ended up on the 4th string. We're just going to jump back to the 5th string and do the same thing. So when we jumped back to the 5th string, we then went 5, 4, 3. Same thing, we've ended up on 3. We're going to go 4, 3, 2. And again. When we go backwards, it would be like 1st string, 2nd string, 3rd string. High notes are like 8, 5, 8, 5, 7, 5. Then we'll go 2nd, 3rd, 4th. 3rd string, 4th string, 5th string. 4th, 5th, 6th. I'm sorry if that's confusing. It is way easier when you just check the tab, and I hope you understood. It's always difficult when I'm teaching here on YouTube because obviously we all learn at different speeds and we all have different abilities. So I know I'm too fast for some and too slow for others. I'm trying my best. So if I am improvising or playing a solo or playing a melody or writing a melody, which is again is what this question's about, I'll often put those little staying on one note is one of the best things you can do for like it's more like a guitar lick than a melody kind of idea, but I guess A minor pentatonic on guitar is more conducive to guitar licks than melodies, but still answering the question. Stay on the note. Bit of the lick. There's one exercise, I'm sure I've taught it here on the channel before, but obviously a lot of you hadn't seen it, and even if you had, it's always great to revisit things anyway. So there's a little exercise that I do myself that I've invited you to do on the channel, which is where rather than use a whole scale at the same time, we use just 1 note, then 2 notes, then 3 notes. Someone say, okay, how do you play a 1-note guitar solo? Well, you've got nothing but rhythm to play with. You get the point, but it's important to do that, and plenty of my best guitar playing is one note. I'll often just do one note. I'll use the pick usually, and I'll use the note and the muted string. If you've got a good drum beat or a good groove or a good loop or a good backing track or however you're playing, if there's another sound going on and you play some really nice one note percussive stuff, really effective. Then of course, after one note, we'll do two notes. So we're gonna try and make a melody with just the 5th fret note and the 8th fret note. That kind of idea. I should say at this point as well, highly recommended to use some kind of backing track. I mean, the best case scenario is that you've got someone else that plays music, a friend, brother, neighbor, sister, girlfriend, whoever, who knows who it's going to be, grandma, that plays, and you can actually get together and take turns, one playing the chord. In this case, would be an A minor based thing, and jam along. It's always great to get together in person, but definitely there's heaps of backing tracks on YouTube. So you could just search like A minor backing track, A minor pentatonic backing track, A blues backing track, something like that. So again, going back to the original question, even if you just try and play your scales in time with a track that's in the same key, you'll get an awful lot closer to playing melodic music than you would if you were just playing the scales on their own. So that's really nice to do. But we did 2 notes, so let's do 3 notes. So I'm going to go 5, 8, and then the 5th fret note of the scale. You'll notice almost subconsciously, I'm not really meaning to do it, it's just ingrained. I'm bending some of the notes or giving some vibrato. There can be a fine line between a bend and vibrato, especially in a bluesy context like this. So there's another little clue for you. If you are doing some scale-based stuff, the odd bend or the odd vibrato will bring it to life a remarkable amount, really a lot. Oops. Again, that lick, it's just like 8-5, 8-5. So just along each string, I just went from the high note to the low note. But when I got to that 5th fret note of each string, I played it a few times. And I gave it a little wiggle, a little shake, a little vibrato, a little bend. So theoretically, I was just playing the scale from its highest note to its lowest note, but of course, we took a little bit of a scenic route, and it kind of sounded a little bit cool. You can definitely use some of that in your playing category. And so on. Another really good exercise, and it's something that I recommend, something I did myself, is if you're practicing your scales, practice going up and down. Imagine a scale like a staircase, going upstairs to the house or whatever. So you could maybe run up 5 stairs, run down 3, run up 7, run down 4, run up 10, run down 3, whatever. So we could go up and down. And in this case, I'm going to do it basically randomly. I'll invite you to do the same. We're moving forwards, we're moving backwards, and we're moving in a nice flowing arc. So that's forwards, I'll go down a bit. Let's go forwards a bit. Let's go back a bit. Forwards a bit. Backwards. I went ever so slightly off script at the end there, because I just did a couple backwards and forwards in between, and already they were guitar licks. So just the odd mixing it up here and there can be really, really good. I hope this has helped. I could keep nattering on about this, and if I get enough positive comments, if you guys want me to keep sharing what I've learned about this and my opinions about this, I'll be more than happy to go deeper into it. But the video is getting pretty long. We're at 15 minutes now already. So I think I'll wrap it there. I've given some tips that will definitely be useful. And if, as I said, enough of you, or even one of you, but really passionately, is getting something out of this, please tell me and I'll do more for you. I guess the note that I'd like to leave it on is, as well as everything I've just taught you and whatever anyone else can teach you, I strongly believe the best thing you can possibly do is learning music by ear. So even though I'm here to guide you where I can and share part of my journey over the years, the best thing you can actually do is go put on your Spotify, or I'm old school, I still listen to CDs, but go put on some music and try and play along and try and figure out some melodies. I highly recommend the White Stripes for this, only because it's really easy. Simple, or maybe not easy, it's beautifully simple. So I find the White Stripes is excellent music to learn guitar to. I definitely recommend the White Stripes. But whatever you love the most, whatever music you really, really like, try and play along, try and figure out some of the melodies, and I promise you'll learn something. I guarantee it. It's impossible not to learn something that will help you on your journey. So thank you. Let me check. Was it Marvelous Everglades, Magnificent Everglades? What was your name again? Mighty Everglades. Good on you, Mighty Everglades. I sincerely hope that I helped in some small way. And I sincerely hope that enough people got to the end of this lesson and want more, that you asked me to do another one of these. Thank you so much. Come on Patreon if you want the tabs, and I will do a bit of a deep dive. I will, on Patreon, assume you're comfortable with what we just talked about, and let's pick up at a more advanced level. So thank you very much, and I'll see you next time.